Howdy folks, Kaloth here, and we have a new kit. We have Boss Nass. We thought we were going to get the kit reveal yesterday like we usually do with kits. We usually get them on Tuesday. This time we got it on Wednesday, and that's not the only thing that's unusual about this. So let's dive into the kit itself. Here we've got Boss Nass. No surprise that he's coming. They told us that the Gungans were coming in the road ahead, and it makes sense to lead with him as the leader. So the art here looks, it looks good, right? If personal feelings on Gungans aside, the art department is killing it as always. We've got Boss Nass, very short on tags, right? He's a leader, he's support, he's a Gungan. There was some discussion on whether or not Gungans would have the Galactic Republic tag. That's really the only other tag that they could have. It doesn't super make sense for them to have it, and so it's not surprising that they don't. But that means that this is a very parasitic, insular faction, right? You're not going to find a whole lot of use, barring some, mechanical oddity. You're not going to find a whole lot of use with this until you have that full Gungan squad. So this is similar to when the Bad Batch rolled out. This is similar to when Inquisitors rolled out, but maybe even more so. With the Bad Batch, you had Galactic Republic and clones, so you've got some synergy. With Inquisitors, you had Empire, you had Unaligned Force User. With this, you really just have Gungans. So I guess they'll be interesting under Rey until the whole team comes together. But that's true of just about any light side character. In any case, we've got Boss Nass here. There are a couple of interesting things in the FAQ before we get into the kit. The shield mechanic, which we're going to talk about here, has a recharge number, and Gungans are going to interact with that, reduce the number of recharge stacks. Whenever it reaches 0 stacks, it has recharged and can gain a bonus turn, use its basic ability. So that seems to be one of the big things to watch for with this team, just in general, is how they interact with the shield generator. Plasma shielding is again also on the shield generator. It basically is just a representation of the shield generator's health. When you're fighting against Gungans, it sounds like you're going to want to try and take out the shield generator as quickly as possible. That's going to hamper the team, we assume, just kind of based on how this works. And then this is super interesting. The FAQ says what it says what this new marquee structure. Pretty sure that's supposed to be why this new marquee structure. It says we're trying something new specifically for the Gungans. Each tier has initial and daily rewards, so be sure to come back each day. We'll see how that works out. We don't know what those rewards are going to be at this point. We may know more a little bit later today as an update rolls out, but at least at the moment, we don't really know what those initial rewards are going to be. And we don't know what the daily rewards are going to be, right? Like, you would hope the initial rewards would be what we've always gotten. Because you would hate to be in a situation where to get what we were getting before, you're going to have to log in every day to get those. I know most of us that are established are in every day anyway, but still just more chores, right? So we'll see what this is all about. And this is another interesting moment, another interesting call out. And this is going to come into play with Queen Amidala too, I'm sure. It says, will the shield generator be summonable in the Naboo raid? Raids up to this point have prevented summons. And it says, yeah, while summons previously cannot be summoned in raids, the new Naboo raid will allow for the shield generator to be present. And then finally, do I need Boss Nass to unlock Jar Jar Binks? Yes. You need him. He's a requirement. We knew that. What we didn't know is that he is going to be needed at Relic 5. So, in a lot of ways, this feels more like a legacy event in the style of Starkiller and Aphra than it does a legendary event, right? Starkiller and Aphra both require 4 characters at Relic 5 each. Jar Jar, unlike previous legendaries, it does seem like he's going to require 4 characters unless we've got a 5th somewhere that we haven't heard about, or if for whatever reason they decide to require STAP, which in and of itself would also be a break in precedent there. So almost feels more like a legacy event. Hopefully maybe they'll make him permanent journey guide. I wouldn't get my hopes up on that, but anything's possible. So let's look at the kit. Basic is Boss's Command. Inflicts offense down on target enemy. Calls another random Gungan ally to assist, dealing 30% more damage. Usually these call to assist, they deal less damage with their basic. In this case, he's actually going to cause them to do more. When this is used during his turn, he recovers 30% protection, gains 10% max protection, stacking up to 100% until the end of the encounter, and inflicts vulnerable on target enemy for 1 turn. Right off the bat, I am weirdly excited about this. I'm not a big fan of Gungans. I'm not a big fan of the Phantom Menace, but I really feel like defensive squads are a very painful point in the game right now. At a certain point in the meta, we have so many versatile offensive squads, and so many of the newer releases like Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, Bo-Katan, Mandalore. A little further back, you look at Afra, you look at Reva, and then here pretty soon you look at Bane with Sith Eternal, and it's very front-loaded, versatile offense. So I felt like we've needed defensive squads for a little while, and this does, with the shield generator and the fact that his basic is going to have that stacking protection and protection recovery, not to mention all the shield generator synergy, it's already giving this feeling of a defensive squad, so hopefully that will hold true. Special number 1, Bombad Favor. Cooldown of 3, dispel all debuffs on Gungan allies, and they gain 25% turn meter and retribution for 2 turns. Allies recover 20% protection. If there's an active ally shield generator, remove 1 stack of recharge from it. And then additionally, Gungan allies gain additional benefits based on their role. Attackers gain crit damage up for 2 turns, tanks taunt for 2 turns, supports and healers, which that would include Boss Nass, gain speed up for 2 turns. This just reads as this is very good on defense, right? You're going to have a dispel debuffs, an AoE dispel debuffs that's going to give you turn meter, it's going to give you retribution, it's going to recover your protection, it's going to lower the cooldown on your shield generator, and it's going to give you additional buffs all on one special ability. Seems good, right? Looking further, Intimidating Order, cooldown of 4, dispelled buffs on all enemies. If an enemy was buffed, remove 25% turn meter from them. If they were a separatist, remove 50% turn meter instead. I have a feeling that's going to be relevant for the raid. Inflict target enemy with expose for 2 turns. Inflict all enemies with defense down 2 damage over times and healing immunity for 2 turns. I mean, this is really just a big AoE support ability. Offensive support ability, right? You're dispelling buffs on enemies. You're hitting the target enemy with exposed. Then you're giving everybody defense down and damage over times and healing immunity. It's going to be a big deal. Unique 1, Ankura Resilience. At the start of the battle, Boss Nass loses 75% max health and gains that much protection. Earlier in the FAQ, that's one thing they did say is that's going to be kind of a thing with Gungans, is they're going to lose max health and gain that much in protection. So something to keep in mind with modding. At the start of Boss Nass's turn, he gains potency equal to 50% of his current protection until the start of his next turn. Whenever enemies are inflicted with speed down, they have minus 25% crit chance on offense. Again, that special is giving speed down. So this is one of those things, again, that this is just making it more defensive. When they have that speed down, and hopefully other Gungans will do it, they have minus 25% crit chance. And then if there's an active ally shield generator, whenever a Gungan ally loses turn meter, they gain 10% of their current max protection, stacking until the end of battle. And whenever Boss Nass inflicts a debuff, he deals true damage to the afflicted target. All good so far. Then the leader ability, Boss of Auto Gunga. Final text is Gungan allies have 30% max protection, offense, and plus 30 speed. Whenever a Gungan ally attacks out of turn, here it is. They inflict speed down for 1 turn. So that's going to tie in his previous unique, right? When they have speed down, they're going to have reduced crit chance. The first time each Gungan ally drops below 50... The first time each Gungan ally drops below 50% health, they gain 50% bonus protection for 2 turns. If there is an ally shield generator, Whenever it loses a stack of recharge, Gungan allies gain 1% max protection, max 50% until the end of the encounter. If the shield generator is defeated, Gungan allies gain 50% turn meter, and at the end of each Gungan ally's turn, they remove a stack of recharge, which again recharges that kind of cooldown timer on the shield generator. If, and only if, this is important, so it's not going to be something you're going to be able to do under Ray. This is really just that insular parasitic team. If all allies are Gungans at the start of battle, summon a shield generator to battle if the ally slot is available. And then in Territory Wars, the Omicron, they're going to get more max protection, 50% max protection, and 30 speed. And then at the start of each Gungan ally's turn, they recover 20% protection, dispel debuffs on themselves, and whenever they're dazed or stunned, they dispel it and recover 75% protection, and gain 4 stacks of protection over time for 2 turns. I'm usually not real super interested in Territory Wars stuff. That, to me, again, not to sound like a broken record, that sounds like really solid defensive stuff. I mean, you know, who knows how it'll actually hold up once we have the whole picture in place, but at least this first starting view seems this is very much the defensive squad that again, I have at least wanted. So we do also have information for the shield generator summon. It has a basic. The basic is Plasma Pulse. All Gungan allies recover 100% protection, gain 25% turn meter, and have their cooldowns reduced by 1. And again, it's only going to be able to use that basic when it recharges, right? So the more your Gungans are acting, the more they're hitting that recharge, and then the shield generator is going to, every time it uses its basic, it's going to give them 100% protection, turn meter, and reduce their cooldowns. It's got a unique. It has 10 stacks of plasma shielding, which cannot be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Whenever it takes damage, it loses 1 stack. While shield generator is active, Gungan allies have the following benefits. They have 500% defense. They are immune to critical hits, which is kind of weird given that so much of his kit is tied around that getting speed down and giving your opponents minus 25% crit chance. While the shield generator that's not going to matter because they're immune to critical hits. And then they take reduced damage from percent health damage effects. And then we have plasma shielding. While the shield generator has this, its allies gain bonuses. Boy, this is kind of formatted in a weird way to how to read. It says, unique, Pride of the Grand Army. The shield generator has no health and protection, can't be defeated or destroyed while it has plasma shielding. When all stacks of plasma shielding expire, the shield generator is destroyed, and the shield generator is immune to buffs, debuffs, and its max health and protection can't be increased. Basically, this is its health bar. It doesn't have standard stats. It's got stacks of plasma shielding instead, and you need to get through them. The shield generator has 50 stacks of recharge. It can't be copied, dispelled, prevented. When it loses all stacks of recharge, it takes a bonus turn and gains 50 stacks of recharge. Again, that is how this is going to work. Gungans are going to lower the cooldown, lower those stacks of recharge. When it hits 0, it's going to do its basic. It's going to give everybody 100% protection. It's going to give everybody turn meter. It's going to reduce cooldowns, and then it's going to get another 50 stacks of recharge, and you have to recharge it again, basically. And then it's also got the quote-unquote summoned unique. This is the same thing that Geonosian Brood has. It's the same thing that Mon Mothma's Soldier has. It's a summoned unit, right? And there's Boss Nass doing his shaky spitty routine. So, Boss Nass. No matter how you feel about Gungans, I think there is a really important thing happening here as far as the meta. This was a little bit of a heated discussion I had earlier today in the Galaxy of Heroes events Discord. I feel, at least, and just from that discussion, I know some people disagree, that the meta right now is very offense heavy, right? Recently we had Bo-Katan Mandalore, who is very much a universal offense tool, and in particular can take out Lord Vader with relative ease. upcoming, we have Darth Bane that's going to just really supercharge Sith Eternal Emperor, who already is a strong offensive unit against a variety of different teams. Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, either with leftover Jedi or with JML, is very, very just versatile and universally strong as an offense tool. Leia is a GL, especially now that her Datacron has expired. She can be pretty easily taken out when she's on offense by things like Sith Lord, by Supreme Leader Kylo. Even Reva can kind of handle Leia without a Datacron. So having Leia, again, universal offense character. Reva herself. Reva is good on defense, but as we've seen, Reva is just kind of universally good on offense, does well against a number of galactic legends. Really the only two defensive squads that have really kind of held up is Jabba and Rey, and even both of those have really easy counters, right? Jabba is pretty easily handled by Night Sisters, pretty easily handled by Supreme Leader Kylo, and of course Rey, pretty easily handled by Starkiller, right? Now, that is not considering Datacrons. Datacrons are what define the defense meta right now, but take Datacrons away, and you don't really have any defense teams that really are putting up much of a fight. We've got rosters that, as you get into Kyber, you have a really deep roster of kind of versatile, universal offensive tools, but then not a lot of defensive teams to handle it with. So as that kind of goes on, it makes the meta stale. So all that to say, this looks like a step in the right direction as far as a defensive team, right? This is very clearly, I mean, you guys tell me if you disagree. This feels very clearly that this is meant to be a team that you place on defense. Just reading his kit. Now, we may see other things in the other kits, but this lead to me seems very, very much focused on defense. And that's good. And what we know of Amidala with her decoy mechanic and all that, she definitely sounds like she has the potential to be defensive. So cross your fingers, hope for that. I do think watch for that new not cadence, that I don't know, that new daily feature that Marquis have. I don't know how to look at that. If we're gonna have a daily reward track from the Marquis, we'll do another video on that, and we'll kind of go over it once it's live tomorrow, and we'll see, okay, how does this work. Watch for that. If you've got options to get more than the standard 50 shards, definitely get those. Boss Nass is the start of this content cycle that we're gonna be seeing these other Gungans, and my strong assumption is that for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be getting a Gungan about every other week, right? If we get a Gungan every other week, that puts us at our final Gungan in April, and then they should all be free to play farmable by early June. And if we're assuming that the raid is coming in July, we would assume that Jar Jar would come around that time, and that fits roughly the time frame that we had Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. So all that to say, be prepared for these. Be prepared to farm these. The ones that come later, if you're somebody who, I really need these for the raid, consider saving some crystals and shipment farming those last few. And this should be free to play doable, even if you're, not really a super established player, so long as you're being careful with your crystals. We should be getting double drops in May the 4th, so look forward to that. And you should be able to go into the new raid with at least a Relic 5 Gungan team, which seems like it's going to be pretty important. And, of course, everybody wants those good raid rewards. So that's all we've got for this. Let me know, what do you guys think about Boss Nass? Are you excited for it? Are you ready for this content cycle to be over before it even began? I don't know. Drop me a comment down below. Thanks for watching. May the Force be with you.